Hello and welcome. Today we're going to go on an incredible journey through time to explore how we as people have always found these brilliant ways to send messages across huge distances. So let's dive into this amazing story of human connection.
Really think about it. It's such a simple question, right? But the answer is this fascinating peek into our own history and just how clever we can be. Before you could just instantly message someone across the globe, how did you tell them anything important? How did you share news or warn them about danger or, just say hello?
So, our journey starts with one of the most basic forms of communication you can imagine, visual signals. Seriously, using just fire and maybe a blanket, ancient people could literally paint messages against the sky, turning the elements themselves into a language that you could see for miles. And then, for hundreds and hundreds of years, communication became something you could actually hold in your hand, a physical piece of paper that traveled across oceans and continents, carrying thoughts and news and feelings. Sure, it was slow, but it was so personal. And honestly, it was revolutionary for its time.
Which, of course, brings us to today, a world of instant, totally effortless connection. That huge leap, from a puff of smoke to a message that arrives in less than a second, that's exactly what we're here to explore.
All right, let's start at the very beginning. Long before technology as we know it existed, our ancestors just looked at the world around them, at nature, and found these incredible ways to turn the elements into messengers. Just look at the creativity here. There's a story that the ancient Greeks used a whole chain of fires on mountaintops to announce the fall of Troy. Native American tribes developed these complex codes for smoke signals where different kinds of puffs meant different things. All across the world, from signal towers to the unbelievable drum talk of Central Africa, people just found a way. And this really shows the two main approaches they took. You either made a signal someone could see, like smoke, or one they could hear, like the beat of a drum. But either way, they were designed to do the exact same thing: defeat distance. You know what's so fascinating about drum talk? It wasn't just a simple code like Morse code. In a lot of tonal languages in Central Africa, the pitch of a word changes its meaning. And these drummers could actually copy those exact tones and rhythms. They were literally speaking with the drums, sending whole sentences that people could understand miles away. It's incredible. Okay, let's hit the fast-forward button and leap into the modern era. We're shifting away from these standalone signals that are limited by how far you can see or hear, and into the birth of the first real networks, systems that were designed to shrink the planet. This timeline really puts the speed of change into perspective. For thousands of years, we were relying on the elements. Then, in the 19th century, things really started to pick up with letters and the telegraph. But just look at that jump to 1971. That's when everything we know today really, truly began. And these inventions were absolutely crucial. They laid the tracks, literally and figuratively, for the connected world we have now. They proved it was possible to build systems that could send information across entire nations. It fundamentally changed society, and it created this expectation for even faster connection. But they were just the prelude. And that revolution, well, it didn't begin with a grand announcement. It started with a quiet little experiment, a simple test by one person that accidentally kicked off the digital age we're all living in right now. And this is our guy, Ray Tomlinson. He was a computer scientist working on something called ARPANET, which was basically the forerunner to the internet. His specific project was trying to figure out how to get different computers to talk to each other. So, what profound, history-making message did he send to launch this new era? Was it something poetic? Something inspiring? Nope. The very first email was most likely just this: QWERTY UIOP, the top row of keys on his keyboard. A simple, totally nonsensical test message. The real genius, though, was in solving a simple problem. How do you tell the system that a message is for a certain user at a different computer? He just looked down at his keyboard, saw the @ symbol, and decided that would be the perfect way to separate the two. It was a simple, elegant solution that we still use billions of times every single day. And from that one little test message, the growth was just staggering. Less than 30 years later, by the end of the 20th century, there were 263 million email inboxes. The revolution had definitely taken hold. And it didn't stop there. In the new millennium, that number just exploded past 2 billion. Tomlinson's quiet little experiment had become the backbone of global communication, for business, for family, and for everything in between. So,
After this incredible journey, what does it all mean? What does this history, from a simple spark of fire all the way to a global network, tell us about ourselves?
Well, the key takeaway is seeing this clear evolution. We started local, using the elements to communicate across valleys. Then, we built national networks, stringing wires across whole countries. And finally, we achieved what we have now: global, instant access, a web that connects nearly everyone, everywhere. This whole story really reveals a fundamental human drive, our unstoppable need to connect with one another. Each and every innovation, from the most ancient to the most modern, was just another step in that exact same quest. Which leaves us with a final, fascinating question to think about. What's our next signal going to be?